Something feels off in NASCAR right now. It's not loud, not explosive, just quietly wrong. For the first time in nearly 2 decades, one of the most consistent winners this sport has ever seen has simply stopped winning. And it's not a temporary slump. It's not bad luck. It's deeper than that. It's forcing us to ask a question nobody expected to ask this soon. What if this is the beginning of the end for Kyle Busch as a top-tier Cup Series driver? That sounds insane, even saying it out loud. This is a 2-time Cup champion, a driver whose entire reputation was built on raw dominance, scary consistency, and the ability to win in any car, on any track, under any conditions. For years, Kyle Busch didn't just race, he owned the field. Winning felt routine for him, almost inevitable. And now, that version of Kyle Busch has vanished. When he left Joe Gibbs Racing after 2022 and joined Childress Racing, it felt like the perfect reset, a fresh start, a chance to prove he could still deliver wins even outside the powerhouse system he'd known for so long. At first, it looked promising. In 2023, he came out swinging, won early, won again, and by mid-season he already had multiple victories. People were talking about a full resurgence, maybe even another title run. But then, everything went silent. No wins for the rest of 2023. None in 2024. None in 2025. And now, deep into 2026, the drought continues. His winless streak has officially crossed 100 races, the longest of his entire career, and not even close to his previous worst. The deeper you look, the more concerning it gets. This season, he's buried in the standings with almost no top-tier finishes. No real threats to win, no flashes of the old dominance. Not even those he's about to break through weekends. The driver who used to be unavoidable at the front of the pack has become invisible. And the scariest part? This isn't one bad year, or even 2. It's a steady, multi-season decline. In NASCAR, that kind of pattern usually isn't just a slump, it's a turning point. The kind that quietly ends elite careers. Now the conversation has shifted from performance to timing. Kyle Busch is in a contract year. He's entered his 40s, and the team he joined for a fresh start hasn't become a consistent championship contender. Childress Racing has had its moments, but they haven't run with the true frontrunners on a regular basis. In a sport this cutthroat, patience disappears fast. NASCAR doesn't wait around, it simply moves on. So here he stands, at a real crossroads. Not just fighting for another win, but fighting to prove he still belongs at the highest level. And the pressure is about to spike. The next race is at Bristol Motor Speedway, a track that once felt like his personal playground. 8 career wins there, total mastery. If there's any place where he could flip the entire narrative, it's Bristol. But that's exactly what makes it dangerous. Because if it doesn't happen here, then where? That question is hanging heavy now. And it leads straight into the bigger story building behind the scenes. What happens if this doesn't turn around? If Kyle Busch doesn't win in 2026, or at least show undeniable signs of life, there's a very real chance he won't be in the number 8 car next year. Maybe not even in Cup. Something that felt impossible just a few years ago is now very much on the table. Kyle Busch changing teams again. Or, in the toughest scenario, stepping away from the Cup Series entirely. There are a few paths forward, and none of them are easy. First option, stay at Childress Racing. Grind it out, hope the chemistry finally clicks, and pray one big weekend resets everything. Right now, though, that feels more like wishful thinking than strategy. In NASCAR, hope doesn't survive long past the next caution. Second option, a more calculated move perhaps to a team like Spire Motorsports. There's already history and success there, especially in the lower series. It wouldn't be random. It could be a smarter, more flexible environment where his experience is valued and expectations are realistic. A place where he could still chase wins while protecting his legacy and involving his family in the sport. Third option, the wild card, a surprise return to Hendrick Motorsports, where his Cup career began. A full circle story. It would need several pieces to fall into place. But in NASCAR, those kinds of shocking moves happen more often than you'd think. And if none of those work, there are always expanding teams or rebuilding organizations that could use his name, talent, and star power even if recent results haven't matched the hype. Because let's not forget, Kyle Busch is still one of the most recognizable and marketable names in the sport. That value doesn't disappear overnight. Then there's the option no one wants to say out loud, stepping back from full-time Cup, shifting focus to other series, controlling his own schedule, and extending his career on his terms, instead of chasing a system that might already be leaving him behind. The truth is, great drivers don't suddenly forget how to win, but the sport evolves, competition gets fiercer, teams change, and sometimes even legends get caught on the wrong side of that shift. Right now, that's exactly what we're seeing, a slow, quiet decline instead of a dramatic fall. This moment matters. We're not just watching a long winless streak. We're watching a critical decision point in the career of one of NASCAR's most accomplished drivers. A moment where he has to decide comeback, reinvention, or the start of the final chapter. And right now, there's no clear answer. Only mounting pressure, only tough questions, and a clock that's ticking louder every week. If things don't change soon, this story won't be remembered as a heroic comeback. It'll be remembered as the quiet way one of the greatest quietly faded away. And that's what makes it so hard to watch.